What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Horseshoe. My name is Matt, and should the Colts sign Odell Beckham Jr.? I'm going to give you guys my thoughts in just a minute, but before I do that, if you're new or if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate if you would click that subscribe button. Also, click the bell icon. That way, you're notified when I upload a video or when I go live. If you like this video, smack the like button. Let me know your thoughts down below. Should the Colts sign Odell Beckham Jr. or not? Let me know why in the comments. And also, if you have a Twitter, make sure you follow me on Twitter at horseshoe_pod. There's a link in the description down below. So, if you talk to a lot of Colts fans would say that the Colts need to add one more veteran receiver on offense. Once you do that, the offense should be good to go. And a receiver that is still available is Odell Beckham Jr. Now, we obviously heard from New York people as well as Cleveland people that Odell Beckham Jr. not the best in the locker room, right? That was the talk. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, he's not a good locker room guy. He's toxic. He's going to ruin your team. You should never go after him," right? You don't want a player like him because of how toxic he is, even though when he's playing, Odell Beckham Jr. is a very good receiver. However, in LA, that's the complete opposite. We've heard nothing bad about Odell Beckham Jr. In fact, Sean McVay has said multiple times he wants Odell Beckham Jr. back. He likes Odell Beckham Jr. a lot. If he didn't like Odell Beckham Jr. and if Odell Beckham Jr. was a problem in the locker room, he wouldn't say that, right? He wouldn't be like, "Oh yeah, we want him back." He would just be like, "Look, he's a good player and we know he's going to have success wherever he goes." He wouldn't be like, "Oh, we want Odell back because if he's a problem, you don't want that problem in your locker room longer than what it's going to be in your locker room for," right? So Odell got hurt in the Super Bowl. I believe he tore his ACL, if I'm not mistaken, and he's still available. Odds are he's not going to be back until probably October, maybe early November, depending on how long it takes for him to fully recover. Now, for the Rams, Odell Beckham Jr. this past season played in 8 games, had 27 catches, which is about 11.3 yards per catch, and 5 touchdowns. Pretty good, right? Like, I'll take those numbers, especially for a number 2 option or a number 3 option. So, to me, those are good numbers for somebody who's not the number 1 option. So, with that being said, should the Colts sign Odell Beckham Jr.? In my opinion, I believe they should sign Odell Beckham Jr. I think it would be a good idea to sign him because when Odell is healthy, Odell is one of the better receivers in the league. So that gives Matt Ryan another really good weapon to go along with Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell, Jelani Woods, Mo Alley Cox, and some of the other guys he has as weapons as well. It just gives him more options to throw to, and I think that's a good idea. Now, look, I get your guys' hesitations when it comes to Odell Beckham Jr. because of what you heard on ESPN and other media outlets about him being a bad teammate, toxic, not a good locker room guy when he was in Cleveland and when he was in New York. I get that, but I think that was made up because we've heard nothing bad about him when he was on the Rams. We've heard nothing but good things about him when he was on the Rams, about being a good teammate, about being a good team player. So I think a lot of the things that were on ESPN about him being a toxic player or a bad teammate, I think that was made up. I don't think that was true at all. So I'm not worried about him being a toxic player. I mean, we got Stephon Gilmore, Darius Leonard. That's not going to fly. They're not going to let anybody be toxic on this team. That's not going to happen at all. So, in my opinion, I think it would be a good idea to sign Odell Beckham Jr. I think once he gets on the team and he learns the system, I think he'll fit in really well. But at the end of the day, it's not my opinion that matters. The one that truly matters is Chris Ballard's. And would Chris Ballard sign Odell Beckham Jr.? In my opinion, I don't think he's going to right now. The only way I see him signing Odell Beckham Jr. is if he thinks we need another receiver because the guys we have on roster right now, outside of like 2 or 3 guys, are just not working out. So if like Desmond Patman, Ashton Doolin, Mike Strawn, guys like that, if they aren't looking that great, then I think he might go after another receiver. And if Odell Beckham Jr. is available, I think he would go after Odell Beckham Jr. because of the past and just how good he has been in the past. And because he's not going to cost a lot of money. So I think he would go after Odell Beckham Jr., but only if the guys we have on roster right now are just not working out. Like, obviously, we know Michael Pittman's going to work out, and we believe that Alec Pierce is going to work out, and Paris Campbell, if he stays healthy, is also going to work out. But if the other guys aren't really working out and they're not looking that great, I think he'll go after another receiver, and if he's available, the first one he's going to go after is Odell. And that's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new or if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate if you would click the subscribe button. Also, click the bell icon so you're notified when I upload a video or when I go live. If you like this video, smack the like button. Sorry about the dogs freaking out. Somebody, I think, just got to the house. But smack the like button if you like the video. Comment down below what you guys are thinking about Odell and whether or not we should sign him. And also, if you have Twitter, make sure you follow me on Twitter at horseshoe_pod. There's a link in the description down below. I'm going to go before the dogs freak out on this person. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Matt, Bleed Blue, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you watch one of these other two videos. They're cool. Also, if you're new, please click the subscribe button as well as the bell icon. I greatly appreciate your support.